It's more than just your output, more than a bike. When you hear your shout out, you know it's all right. Put on your magic pants and let's go. We're cruising into the power zone. Clip in, set yourself free. Come on and take a ride with me. Know what you need to know and what's it all about. Everything you need, it's on the Clip Out.
Welcome to the Clip Out Podcast, episode 438. This is Crystal O'Keefe.
And this is Tom O'Keefe. So you're confused about the number because we have recorded episodes for the first time ever out of order.
Yes, first time ever, indeed.
Yes. I feel like Jed the Fish. That's a
I am
deep
so
cut
excited about
alt-rock
not
record.
having to
Yeah.
record on vacation. I don't know if I'll ever be over this. I'm so excited.
But yeah, so we are out next week. We are going on vacation, just the two of us, because we are empty nesters. And so rather than lug all of our equipment with us, we will not be recording a new episode next week. There will be a new episode next week, but it will be a kind of just an Ask Me Anything. We asked for people to send us questions. They were kind enough to do that. So we will be answering questions about, the history and the future of Peloton, the history and the future of the podcast, behind the scenes stories that we've never shared before or haven't shared in a very long time. So all of that will be in next week's episode. And then the following week, we will return to our regular allotment of news and whatnot. So we appreciate your patience while we go on a cruise. We got a silent squeak.
Well, I'm just so excited. I'm telling you, 8 years since I've taken a vacation without a thing I had to do that was scheduled. It's just crazy to me. So
Yeah, and I think we talk about this a little bit next week, but we've recorded in Puerto Rico, in Disneyland, in Hawaii, in our Disney World, not Disneyland, but yeah, just all Alaska.
yeah, that's right.
Everywhere. We've so many places. New York City, obviously. So anyway, if it sounds different next week, that's why. It will go back to sounding like normal the next week. We appreciate your patience. But until then, what, pray tell, do you have in store for people?
Well, we're going to talk about this countdown to turkey burn confusion because there has been a lot of it, and people have been very upset about it. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to do a quick overall earnings call recap that happened last week. We are going to talk about the Peloton's new event hub, which we had announced last week or the week before. But what's going on with it now? Because, of course, it can't be smooth. Not to mention, there's some events coming up that everyone needs to know about. The very first ever Peloton and HYROX event that's going to be happening. And we're also going to talk about a very weird Peloton Tread glitch that appears to not be consistent, but is affecting some people. There are new features on the Peloton website for the store locator. We have updates about mPaceline, huge news there, who Peloton is hiring. We've got lots of instructor news. We have the latest Artist Series. We have some competitor news. SoulCycle, very interesting stuff going on over there. Not to mention a whole bunch of new content. What'd you say?
I remember them.
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, awesome. Well, before we get to all that, shameless plugs, don't forget we're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, TuneIn, wherever you find a podcast, you can find us while you are there. Be sure and follow us so you never miss an episode. Maybe leave us a review. That is super helpful and greatly appreciated. Something else that is super helpful and greatly appreciated is our Patreon, patreon.com/real spoilers, where for $5 a month.
We're not real spoilers.
/the clip
2 weeks in a row.
I know, right? That's okay. I think I did it on Real Spoilers if it makes you feel any better.
Of course
Patreon.com/the clip out, where for $5 a month, you get bonus content, you get ad-free episodes, and you get early episodes. Over on the Patreon bonus episode this week, we are going to be talking about scream therapy, the weird thing that marathoners are doing now.
And it's a doozy.
They're being a little extra. And we'll
Speaking of extra.
Yeah. And then Callie Gullickson has an awkward moment on the gram, and we will dig into that. So that is all over on the bonus. And for Patreon subscribers, you're probably already aware, but there will not be a bonus next week because the stuff we just said. So you can also find us on Facebook, facebook.com/theclipout. While you're there, like the page, join the group. Don't forget, you can watch all of these over on YouTube. And then, of course, we have a newsletter that goes out mostly weekly that you can sign up for at theclipout.com. It'll give you the links to all the things we talk about. And, of course, just a weekly reminder that we exist. So there's all that. Let's dig in, shall we?
We shall.
Peloton in the news.
The countdown to turkey burn has begun, as has the confusion.
Yeah. So, okay. The intent of this challenge is that it is simultaneously a challenge, but also a program, and that you can take some of the classes live so that everyone's kind of doing the same thing together, right? But what Peloton did not do was explain what classes were going to happen when. So the first week, when everybody expected live classes, everything was dropped on demand.
Okay.
Then,
But I'm sure in
everyone
week 2, this will be rectified, right? Like now,
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, right?
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah.
But then week 2 happened, and that's when the live classes started. But there was no warning until the morning of the class, and Andy Spear got on Instagram and was like, "I'm doing the first live class, blah, blah, blah." And then the problem with that is it drops at 6:30 AM Eastern. Well, there are numerous amounts of people that are not able to take the classes live, right?
Yeah.
Which is not really a big deal, except for, again, they were not able to plan for it. I think if Peloton had said, "This is when we're gonna do it," they still would have gotten complaints because no matter what, people will complain.
Well, sure.
But I know, right? But the thing is that people then thought, "Well, if I can't take it live, I'll just take it on demand." But it took several hours for it to get loaded on demand. So if you are a person who exercises in the morning, now you're a day behind the challenge, which you're still getting counted for it, but you only have so many days before the turkey burn actually occurs because Thanksgiving is a static day.
Right. The clock's
And
ticking.
right? So then that means that people are trying to get, 18 classes done in 18 days, but they have to now they have to take within 17 days because now they're a day behind. Many people are a day behind.
Right.
And again, I think all of this would have been fine if they had just explained it. And then you have a whole group of people that don't even understand that if you take it later, it still counts. Like there's a ton of people that think that.
Yeah.
And that's just crazy wrong. So that's part of the issue. But it's a weird situation because you get a special badge for completing all 18 classes. So you have to do all the strength classes, all the cardio classes. Then you think the confusion is over, right? Like, not that bad. And yesterday, it was supposed to be a live Tune Day class, so everyone was ready. And just kidding, 5 minutes before it got canceled, and it was a repeat of last week's Robin class. What? And so then everyone was like, does this count? Does this not count? I'm so confused. Then, late yesterday afternoon, just to make sure that it was as confusing as possible, they then posted the Tune Day class late afternoon. What is happening?
So now, do you get credit if you took the repeat class, or do you have to then do the Tune Day class?
It seems like the repeat class, it seems like either is what it seems like.
Which would make sense.
It would make sense, but for God's sakes, explain it. Like, it's not that big of a deal, just do it. Okay, but then, again, confusion. Why would you not put that on social media? Why would you not say it? Why would you not hey, last minute change? I'll tell you why, because those people don't come into class or don't come into work until hours later. That's why.
Yeah.
Nobody is around to post it. And they have this cool Teams feature where they could put the information out in a broadcast, right? Didn't do it in the Teams. Again, I say, what are you guys doing? Like,
Yeah.
is somebody, Like, these are not horribly difficult things. And I realize it's all first world problems. None of this is that big of a deal. But it's like, what a much better experience it would be if you would think about the problems that could occur and then make a plan for those in advance. Just basic project management 101. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Woof.
Yeah,
Well,
right?
I'm
That's just
sure
one challenge. That's one thing. Wait
I'm
till I
sure
get to the events hub.
I'm sure they'll have this all situated by the end of the year, and then it'll be smooth sailing.
I'm sure by the time Thanksgiving rolls around. And here's another thing that I think is confusing, but people haven't picked up on yet, especially for people who are new to the platform and they've never done a turkey burn.
Yeah.
Everyone's just calling it turkey burn, but this is the countdown to turkey burn. The actual turkey burn doesn't happen until Thanksgiving. Again, not that big of a deal, but there are people that don't know that.
Right.
You need to explain this stuff, guys. Like, not everybody knows all your things, you
Yeah.
know?
That is true. Not everyone is Clubhouse Crystal.
Or obsessed with reading every detail that comes out from Peloton.
It seems like a distinction without a difference, but okay.
Fair. Fair.
So Peloton had their earnings call last week. This is a little bit of old news just because they did it like the day after we record our episode. So, and they did it in the evening, like at 5 o'clock.
Yeah,
our
which
time.
no one will convince me otherwise. That was completely based on the fact that they had the recall happen at the same
Yeah.
time. There's nobody will convince me otherwise. That was definitely all brought together, but we had no interest in recording yet another segment, so we did not. But honestly, I don't know that there was really a lot to say.
Yeah,
Yes.
outside of the recall, it didn't seem like there was anything all that new in the earnings call.
No, in fact, it was all good news because every one of their adjustments that they made to their guidance were actually they came in the actual numbers came in above where the guidance had been on almost every single metric for this last quarter, and they adjusted their guidance for the rest of the year. Everything went up to where it had been. So, in other words, things are going better than they expected. That's the end focus that you should have. I'm not sure why the stocks did not reflect that, but then I never am
They
sure.
never do.
Yeah.
Like, it's so weird that like they could have the best news ever, and it seems like the stock market is just like meh.
Yeah, until I will say until they have like just straight up profit, we're probably always going to see this. You
Yeah.
know, and I mean straight up like profit across the board. We don't have that. Somebody actually, I thought this was so funny. I I don't even know how to take this, but one of the questions that came in was about dividends. I was like, "Girl, you need
You're
to settle down."
you're adorable.
Right. And then
Yeah.
they also made a couple of comments, but nothing super exciting about like they're going to continue to bring things. There's going to continue to be more stuff around breath work, around menopause programming, around wellness and longevity programming, prehabbing and post-habbing. Like all of that continues to grow. I think they're having a lot of success with those. We don't have numbers around it yet, but they're seeing a lot of really positive impact. So I think we're going to continue to see things with that. But they kept saying there's no time to like we're not giving you any information yet. We'll
Yeah.
announce it later. The other thing that I thought was interesting is that because of pre-core, I guess I kind of missed they announced so much at once whenever they did all their changes and their new programming. But one of the things that happened during that was that Precore came out with a slatted tread for the first time ever. So basically, like the Tread Plus for Peloton, but this is commercial.
Okay.
And because Precore is already in like 68 countries, they kind of see it as a way to grow internationally without necessarily growing Peloton internationally. It's more about the commercial side of things. So I think that we're going to see some things happening on paper that are going to show an increase in profit, but it's not necessarily going to affect the everyday things that you see on the Peloton side.
Gotcha. Well, and I was also thinking breath work is very important for all those people holding their breath, waiting for those dividends to come out.
Yeah.
that will be crucial for your long-term survival.
Definitely.
So Peloton's event hub.
Okay.
Now, in their defense, they never said it was all events.
Actually, they did. They did actually. It said now you can find all of our events in one place. Our community events in one place.
Okay,
So-
well, in their defense, they have no defense.
It's just crazy. Like they just launched this like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And guess what's not on there? The Peloton and HYROX event that's coming up on November 20th. That's like in a week. It's not there. They put it on their Instagram, but they didn't put it on the events hub. That's
so
crazy to me.
Yeah.
And then they have all of these events coming up at different stores, like different like in-place stores, Natick, Tyson's Corner, Short Hills. Rebecca's going to be at Natick. Andy's going to be at Tyson's Corner. Kirsten is going to be at Short Hills. None of them are on the event hub.
I feel like I'm married to the event hub
Why?
because you're just rattling them all off.
Well, because we do gather this stuff, and I don't
Yeah.
understand why you wouldn't put these things on there. That's
Yeah.
just bonkers. Oh, another thing, not on the event hub, the Run Club in London and in New York, the classes that they have every month that like
Yeah.
you can plan ahead for and put
Right.
on.
Super easy. Yeah.
Not there. Not there.
Oh, Lord.
Also, because there have been so many mistakes lately, we're not even really sure these events are actually happening now. Like we have no confidence in it because when they post it on Instagram, every time they're posting, at least one of their slides shows the wrong date. For example, the Run Club in New York, October 20th or October 18th, but really pretty sure it's November since we're already halfway through November. And the same thing with the events in Natick, Tyson's Corner, and Short Hills. Like they had the wrong dates on that. I mean, listen, I know all about posting and how you can easily make mistakes because I do it all the time.
For
You're
sure.
moving fast. We have so many people posting for different events. I get it. Things happen. So, like, I would be the last person to be like, how dare you make a mistake? But these are really big things. Like, you just announced the hub, like, you just did it.
Yeah, you would think you'd have it all preloaded with the upcoming things before you flipped it live and you'd be good for a little bit.
Yeah. And it takes like a quick hot second for somebody to look over it. The dates for London and New York literally have different dates, like different months on them. Come on. Like, that's a simple thing to check.
Yeah, and that's just a cut and paste mistake. You know what I mean? Like it's like they recycling artwork and they didn't. Yeah, like I mean I've done it.
So
But
have I.
yeah,
So have I.
but I'm also not a multi-billion-dollar multinational corporation.
Right.
So,
That every single member is paying $50 a month for the privilege. Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But maybe one day.
Maybe.
Maybe. So since the event hub doesn't have it, I guess we will tell you about the Peloton and HYROX event in Dallas.
Yeah, this is actually pretty exciting because it is the first time that Peloton and HYROX have had an event in person. It's going to be taking place, if you can believe it, Thursday, November 20th from 4:45 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Central Time, and it happens in Dallas, Texas. That is to prepare you for the competition weekend. So I assume you're going to do, some kind of like warm up, sort of like a shakeout run like you would do for a marathon or any other race. And I think that's going to be part of it. But also, you're going to be able to meet some of the instructors. I think, well, I know Logan's going to be there. I think Robin is going to be there and Andy, perhaps. It's hard to say because, again, the artwork only shows Robin and it doesn't say what instructors are going to be there. So, we're guessing, but
Yeah.
that's what it seems like.
And we've seen some of these instructors on their own Instagram channels talk about the fact that they're going to be there. So it would stand to reason
That is
that
fair.
they would stop by. But
Yes.
you would think they would convey that. Yeah. So one of the helper bees this week noticed that the Peloton Tread runs have a weird mileage glitch.
Yeah, they got a PR that was like 4:45 a minute.
Like
And
and then they immediately had qualified for the Olympics, and they're competing. Super excited for them.
But they were like, "Well, no way can that be right. Like, I never run that fast." And like it said, well, I guess their mile was 7 minutes and their 1,000 meters was 4:25. But either way, much faster than their actual. And they were like, I didn't run above XYZ speed. So I know this is wrong. And the reason I wanted to show this to people is because I had something similar happen it's been a few weeks, but I was taking a class and I thought, well, maybe I just ran faster than I thought I did.
You're like, a 39-minute mile? Look at me.
I'm slightly better than my 40-minute mile. I'm a little faster than that. Thanks, Tom. But in all seriousness, I wasn't sure and I just believed it because it's data and I thought it would be accurate. But
For
turns
sure.
out
Yeah.
you can't trust it. So
So my first thought was, I want to know what CJ Albertson's data looks like.
really 2-minute mile.
They're like, CJ Albertson, you have officially gone back in time. You finished this run before you started it. Congratulations. Also, are things heavy in the future? So Peloton's website has a store locator. Now, it's always had a store locator, but you can now find non-Peloton stores that have Peloton equipment.
Yeah, and so they had put on there before like Dick's Sporting Goods, but now they've added Johnson Fitness. And the reason I thought this was notable is because I saw they had made a bunch of changes to the website, so I pulled it up and like in Missouri, for example, we are now showing that we have like 50 stores versus 0 in reality because we
Gotcha.
don't have any Peloton stores. And I was just like that I know they said that they were really working to increase their retail space and I knew that it had increased their retail reach, but I did not realize how many Johnson Fitness locations there were. It's a much bigger reach than I had thought of because I don't use Johnson Fitness. I've never been in a Johnson Fitness store in my life. I don't know what they are or where they are other than they exist.
I
But
never even heard of them. Not that that's
exactly.
shocking,
Right.
but I never even heard of it until the Peloton stuff.
Yeah, and obviously Dick's Sporting Goods makes sense, but and I knew they were on there, but like still before it was like it was showing a few and now it's like there are tons of them.
Yeah.
So I think that is really good for the brand and I'm glad that they added those locations. Although it could be a little misleading because you might think you're going to go in and get like Peloton clothes and you're not. And
Yeah.
you're also not going to have an instructor or you're not going to have somebody teaching you how to use the equipment. It's just going to be like self-guided, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just good to know.
Do you know, do most of these locations at least have like equipment out and
They do.
accessible so you can sample it?
Yep, they
Okay.
do. They do. I'm not saying all of them, but it does appear that many of them do. And it also said, like, if you go to the store locator, it will show you like whether or not it's self-guided or whether or not it's store. So you can click on it and find out and have a better idea before you go. So if that's important to you, then you can check before you go.
And I think that's super important from a timing standpoint with all the new equipment rolling out for people that are contemplating upgrading their equipment. They're gonna probably want to try it to see like, is this radically different than what I have? Is it worth the upgrade? Can I wait another year, etc.?
And the holidays,
Yeah.
they're expecting to get a lot of people buying stuff for the holidays. That is another thing that came up with the earnings report that more people than they expected bought the plus products, like bought the higher end.
Interesting.
I thought that was very interesting. And it really doesn't probably matter to most people that are listening to this, but yesterday was the last day that you could order and get your pre-existing I'm a Peloton customer, discount. So you could get up to $1,200 off because you already were a Peloton owner and now that is gone. So
Gotcha. Finally, for this segment, I want to talk real quick about mPaceline. There had been some changes in Peloton's API, which was going to make mPaceline maybe no longer function.
Hmm?
And so that is not true. They found
well,
it
Paul?
is and it isn't, but ultimately good news.
Yeah, exactly. Paul Amidine announced yesterday in the mPaceline group that he has created a new app and it's called mPaceline Pulse. And right now, it's mostly for third-party users. So if you don't have a Peloton, but you have a different treadmill, you can connect via Bluetooth and you're going to be able to get all of your metrics in the app, the mPaceline Pulse app. However, though there are gaps right now, he already has updates planned. And so they're going to keep iterating to add features back. And the very first feature that they're adding is being able to connect the way that you used to for your Peloton equipment. So you'll be able to see your graphs and stuff. And I think that's coming out either later this week or early next week. And, he said there's feature gaps right now, but he's going to continue to add it. And the reason that they made a whole different app is because to use the app that they were already using, it would have basically required redoing the entire thing. And rather than doing that, they were like, let's just build from the ground up. And it makes the whole thing move faster because they're not putting code on top of code on top of
Yeah.
code. So that was why they decided to do it. Also, there is going to be a price increase. I think it's $10 instead of $5 a month, but well worth it to get all the data and to support a guy who's been doing this for years
Years,
and the original third-party platform. So it's a great way to support the community and another Peloton user. And Paul Amidine's a really nice guy, just a really nice person. So something.
Yeah, I'm really glad he was able to find a solution to keep that running. He's been doing it for a long time, and that would be kind of sad if he packed it in.
It
Yeah.
would, yeah.
Go
I'm glad to
for it.
see it.
Peloton now hiring.
So Peloton is hiring a head of compliance, policy, and regulatory affairs.
So let's see, what does that mean in real speak?
I was just like, can you translate that into people?
It ensures adherence to laws and policies, leading external engagement with regulators, policymakers, and other stakeholders. You'll bridge internal risk, legal, business, and policy functions to support sustainable growth while managing regulatory and reputational risk exposures. So, sounds like you're going to sometimes go to Washington, D.C., you're going to sometimes be dealing with the lobbyists, you're going to be making sure that legal is doing what they need to do, and legal is going to tell you what you need to do to make sure the rest of the company, like a lot of back and forth over stuff. It's like project manager, but making sure people are following laws.
Yeah. I also wonder if they have one for each country, or if one person handles because I mean that's already can be a Byzantine process to just deal with US laws and regulations, but then you throw in Canada, Australia, Austria, the UK, that's a lot of balls to juggle.
Yeah, and I was just kind of looking through here to see they don't mention anything other than the United States. I'm not saying that it doesn't, but it does say that you will oversee Peloton's global trade compliance program, including tariff management. So and you will lead a small global team of ethics and compliance specialists. So it sounds like they have one person that's leading different people on the team. So, okay.
Okay, so they probably have people under them who you're our Canadian expert, you're our UKEN expert.
Exactly.
That's the word now. You handle the uckites
The guys.
better than the uckheads.
That is true.
Yeah, the uckers. It could get way worse.
I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think we should call them that.
Well, coming up after this, we're going to dig into instructors in the news. We have all sorts of information, what Jon Hosking is up to, Hannah Corbin, all sorts of stuff like that. So stick around.
Instructors in the news.
Good news for fans of Jon Hosking. He will be, or I guess I should say American fans of Jon Hosking. He
That's
will
true.
be at PSNY.
Yeah, and he's going to be teaching several classes. So 7 classes total between November 29th and December 11th. How cool is that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's always fun when the instructors, either direction, pop up in other countries so those people get to sample in real life without making it a giant thing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Hannah Corbin was on Oprah Daily.
Yes, because she had her book be chosen do you call it a book when it's like cards? But anyway, her Did You Stretch Though book has these cards for stretching, and it was chosen as one of Oprah's favorite things on 2 different lists, which I didn't know there were more than one list, but at any rate, and so she was talking about the benefits of stretching and, of course, the book and, like, talking it up and everything, so
Well, that's a good placement for her.
definitely. Yeah, that's huge.
Tea Time with Cody is back for those who like Cody and or tea.
That's true. Yep, another British installment, and, it's going to be the final installment of Tea Time, and, there's going to be the first one is dropping November 12th, and, he tries to eat British food and then basically spits it out of his mouth, which to me is disgusting, but, there you go.
Hey, I will
Can we get rid of this mustache? Like, when is that gonna go?
Well, I guess if he keeps spitting out food, things will get stuck in there and it will be a self-fixing problem. I
Good
will
point.
say, when we were in Britain, their french fries,
Oh my god, those are so good.
and
So
it was
good.
everywhere. Like, at first I just thought like, "Oh, I landed in this one place that really knows how to make french fries." But it was everywhere. They, like, fry them twice or whatever,
Yeah, it was
and
like double or triple cooked or something, triple
yeah,
fried. I don't
and,
know.
like, holy crap.
Yeah,
They
like, they put American french fries to shame.
oh,
Like,
not even a close call. I
no,
like,
it's not.
so good that I'm like, "Why aren't we stealing this?"
I know, it's a great question. I don't understand. Why are we not? This would be great. This would be a hit everywhere.
It's
It's insanity.
And if you're a restaurant chain and you just started doing this, I would think you'd get a rep for such great french fries. Like that would be if you were like a Red Robin or something, like people would
Flock.
yes. This has been French Fry Corner with Tom and Crystal. I get top billing on French Fry Corner.
Okay,
But
that's fair.
that makes sense,
It
right?
does.
You do all the Peloton stuff, I do all the French fry eating. So Christine D'Ercole had an Instagram post talking about the use of testosterone while in menopause and how it affects her competitions. This is really nice that people are really being this open about that sort of thing.
Yeah. So one of the things that happens when you go through perimenopause and menopause is your testosterone drops. And for every woman, of course, that is a different rate. But one of the things that testosterone does is help you recover, and it also helps you build muscle. So if you're trying to, you know, build lean muscle mass, testosterone is very crucial to that. You're going to have, even if you're working out every day, and you're not seeing muscle grow, that could be why your testosterone might be low. So, the problem in America, I don't know what other countries are, so I'm only speaking of America. The problem in America is that the FDA has never cleared testosterone use for women, period. End of discussion. There are tons and tons of uses for men, but not one for women. Not even the smallest dose has been regulated or cleared by the FDA. Why does that matter? That matters for 2 reasons. One, if you want to have testosterone given to you by your doctor, first you have to find one willing to actually prescribe it to you. Now, places like MIDI are great. They can do that. But here's the problem. Not every state will allow a MIDI doctor to create a prescription for you. So for example, my doctor does not prescribe testosterone at all. My MIDI doctor will, but my OBGYN will not. In fact, my OBGYN, when I was talking to her about this, knew of one doctor in the St. Louis area. Now, I'm not saying that is the only one. I'm just
Right.
saying she only knew of one doctor in the St. Louis area that would prescribe testosterone to women. One. But regardless, that is important because you're not going to be able to get the actual use that you need through a doctor. The second reason that's important is Christine does these races, these amazing, huge races that are worldwide races. Part of sports training is you can't have any testosterone in your system. So when they do a test for testosterone, they're going to pick up on it if she were to take any. So she's not allowed to take any. And yet it would make her feel so much better. And yet it would reduce symptoms. So the big question
And it's replacing something she used to have. right? Like
Bingo.
she's not trying to game the system. She's trying to get herself back up to where she was originally.
Precisely. So Christine is hoping to have conversations with the sports commission that covers this, and I don't remember the name of it. But she's hoping to have a conversation with them, like, what are her options? Is this possible? Is this something that we can lobby for? Like, what can we do about this? So that is happening. And I feel like that is an incredibly important conversation. So I wanted to make sure people knew about it. The other thing I just want to point out is yes, you can go get testosterone from a med spa. I highly recommend that you do not. Number one, pellets are not all like pellets are not all created the same and they cannot be dosed very specifically. And so if a person gets those put in, at one point it might be at, one dose and the next time they get it, it might be a much lower or higher dose. It's very difficult to make the pellets correct. The other thing is that when you go to a doctor, they're giving you a cream and you're able to see a very specific dose and you're able to regulate that dose. And if something's not working for you, then you can make changes to it. And when you get your labs, you're able to see what the difference is versus every time you get pellets, it's a different one. And you can't take the pellets out once you put them in. Like they just have to run their course. So I'm not saying pellets are bad. I'm just saying do your research and make sure that you understand the difference because it is not a workaround. There needs to be things put in place. And I have heard of many med spas, especially with men going crazy on the doses and really making people miserable. They had a whole article not too long ago in the Washington Post, I think, where it talked about women having testosterone. And yes, it increased their sex drive. Yay. But on the opposite side of that, there were women that lost their hair. There were women that had thickening of vocal cords and other things. And they trusted that they were on a dose that wasn't going to hurt them. So you need to be aware that bad things can happen and you need to be aware that all these things work together. Also, if you're taking progesterone or you're taking any kind of HRT, all hormones react cyclically to each other. So if you are given progesterone, it can make, for example, your testosterone level drop. And you need to know that too, because that's one of the reasons that they have trouble doing labs, because if you're taking medication to regulate your hormones, it can affect your testosterone level because it's a hormone. So sorry, that was my soapbox. I will hop off now.
That's okay. I feel like we should also say, just to protect ourselves,
Not a doctor.
we're not a doctor. It's not medical advice. It's personal opinion, and you should obviously consult with your own physician before making these choices for you. There.
That is absolutely true.
Just wanted to put the asterisk on that so we didn't come back to a lawsuit.
Yeah, that's probably not great.
And then finally for this segment, Selena Samuela has her due date.
It's just a few days before Christmas that she is going to be having her twins, assuming that, she makes it that far. And I just say makes it that far from the standpoint of she is so uncomfortable at this point in her pregnancy. And that could mean that the babies are like, nope, we're heading out soon. I don't know. But the goal is to make it a few days before Christmas and the twins will be here. So that is super exciting for Selena and her family.
Peloton Artist Collaborations.
The latest Artist Series features Anastacia, which I guess we kind of saw coming.
Yeah, she was hanging out with Benny and in the studio in Germany. She is a German artist. I don't know much about her, but I know that she's a huge deal in Germany. And Benny was beyond excited. Like he was just
Beside himself.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but I think it's cool that they do it would be so easy for them to forget the artists that are a big deal in other countries, but not necessarily America. So like, I'm glad that whatever system they have in place, make sure that artists like this don't kind of fall off their radar.
I totally agree. Yeah, definitely.
Also, we're getting more Armada music classes.
We are. Yeah, it seems like this is the finale of the collaboration between Armada and Peloton. And it's like, this is a huge deal. It has some DJ that I don't recognize, Billy Palmer. Not that is shocking. I would only recognize one DJ besides DJ John Michael, and that's DJ Pauly D. So that's means nothing. I'm sure Lily Palmer is huge, and she is going to be on, and then Armin van Buren will be part of this as well. And then it's those blah, blah, blah. There are going to be a couple of these different classes. One is with Adrian and one is with Jess King. And then I'm not sure when the Lily Palmer one takes place, but that is going to be happening as well.
Checking out the competition.
So here's a name we haven't heard in a long time. Soul Cycle has discovered strength training.
I am just kind of fascinated by this. They are trying to do strength classes now, and it's just really funny how they're trying to double down on this. I'm not saying they won't be successful. I'm sure they will be successful. Strength is everywhere right now. It's just so funny to watch these things just completely evolve over time. I think
Yeah.
we mentioned last week that Hydro is adding a new strength piece of equipment. It's called Hydro Liquid. And so you're just seeing this kind of appear everywhere all of a sudden. And I think it's great that people will have access to strength no matter what, but I am kind of fascinated by the evolution.
Yeah, it is funny. Like you said, it's great because, like, wherever you're exercising, you want to do what's best for you. So it's ultimately, it's a good thing that they're adding this. It just feels so late to the game.
It does.
Coming up after this, we're going to talk content. We got the TCO top 5. We're going to tell you what's going on with this week in Peloton and all sorts of things that you should be checking out. So sit tight.
New content.
It is time for the TCO top 5. You tell us your favorite classes, and then we also tell you your favorite classes. Starting off, we have your favorite walk run.
Yes, it was taught by Jon Hosking on 11/9. It was a 45-minute walk plus run. Laura Monsteven loved this class. She said it was a fun playlist that highlighted some favorite songs and memories from the past in the club classes, and loving that pace targets are now a thing for walk plus run. Absolutely. That is really cool. I've been enjoying them as well. So that's awesome. And I'm glad to hear this one is a lot of fun. Jon Hosking is a lot of fun. He always has great playlists too.
Number 2 is your favorite walk.
Susie Chan taught this class. It was a 30-minute pop walk, and Sarah Lester nominated the class, saying she hasn't enjoyed a playlist that much in a while. It was all music by women in the year of 2025. So Taylor Swift, Chappell Roan, Lady Gaga, Sabrina Carpenter, just to name a few. That sounds amazing. That is going on the list. Thank you, Sarah.
I didn't know Taylor Swift had a new record out. How about that?
That's crazy.
Number 3, your favorite ride.
Okay, so this was taught by Leanne Hainsby Aldis. It was a 30-minute pop ride on 11/9, and Margaret Folkman Robertson loved it, especially the music. Another playlist winner, we had Lizzo, Miley, Spice Girls, and Taylor Swift.
I'm sensing a theme.
What?
Number 4, your favorite yoga class.
This one's going on the list as well. It was a 30-minute focus flow for runners taught by Kira Michelle, 9:27, and it's 30 minutes. Mindy said, what I love most about this class was not just the flow, but her interactions with the in-person class participants. She was making corrections for them and conversing with them. I felt like I was in class with them. That's amazing.
That's really cool. And then number 5, your unstackable. It's a core class.
It is a core class, but number 1, it's a Robin. Number 2, 20 minutes of core. And number 3, it added in a foam roller. Hillary LeMay had a lot to say about this class. It was on the platform on 10, it was dropped on the platform on 10/13 at 11 p.m. So midnight on 10/14 Eastern. But she said that this is the class your deep core did not know it needed. It feels like doing Pilates on a reformer, but without the machine. And the roller creates instability. So your deep core has to work harder. You get long controlled movements that sculpt without impact and built-in muscle release. Robin's cues are clear, sequencing is smart, and her foam rolling core classes are beginner friendly, but surprisingly tough. That is a great recommendation.
Yeah, I find it fascinating that it's an unstackable, it's Robin, but she's not wearing yellow.
Can you imagine if it was?
That's true. She wouldn't have lived long enough to submit it to the TCO top 5. So, taking a look at this week in Peloton, we have daily meditation for gratitude.
We do.
Yeah.
So it dropped 2 days ago. My guess is I just kind of skipped right over it. I didn't do meditation on Monday. I probably just didn't see it. Anyway, you're supposed to do it for a week straight, and that's going to get you in that Thanksgiving gratitude mood.
Maybe like they know how your gratitude levels are, and it just was like, don't even bother.
Because they're so high. That's what you're saying.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, I
Mhm.
am. We also have a Sim 60 pop bike boot camp.
Yeah, we haven't had a Sim 60 pop bike boot camp in a little bit. And this is going to drop on the 11th. And it's, as you said, 60 minutes. Very special.
We have a new Tracks Walk with Olivia Amato.
We do 30 minutes of walking, and it's going to be all new tracks. And it will be dropping this Saturday, November 15th, and it'll be live at 7:30 a.m.
For the Tabata fans, Logan has you covered.
Yeah, live cardio, 20 minutes of just Tabata live. That's crazy. Sunday, November 16th at 8 a.m. Eastern. My God, Tabata hit cardio. Oh, it's like the worst. It's so good for you. And it's like what I obviously need because I hate it so much. But it's great.
And Logan is wearing yellow. Should we be worried?
I don't know if yellow is his thing. I just know it's a Robin thing.
I know. I was being silly. And taking a look at the clip out radar, things that we're keeping an eye on, we think you should too. Yeah. Peloton honored Veterans Day as they do every year.
Yes, there were several classes. There were a few that were listed on the on-demand schedule. There were also a few live classes. So they all dropped yesterday, live or on demand. But very cool that they do this. I heard that I haven't heard like feedback on every single class, but I did hear that Christine's was incredibly powerful. So if you need a dose of like positivity for this country, that could be a really great place to go.
Absolutely. Camila has the next stop on her Latin American countries tour.
Yes, it's going to be celebrating Cuba, and that is going to be dropping on November 16th.
Benny Adami had a recent Instagram story that we found interesting.
Yes, he says that he has something brewing, and it coincides with the upcoming drop of new Stranger Things episodes, and his music is very on point for this prediction. So when you look at the emojis, we're thinking it could have something to do with that. So very exciting, and hope that it is. That's what I hope it is.
We also have a new program in the works from Emma Lovewell.
This has literally been like 18 months in the works. Like, she has been talking about this freaking program for months. Like, I feel like I have heard about this for years now. But yes, it is. It's coming. It's going to be another core focused challenge for us.
It's like Guns N' Roses and Chinese democracy. Like
How
spent
long
like,
did that take? I feel like
I think it took like 20 years.
I was going to say, I feel like it's George R.R. Martin and the next
Yeah.
Game of Thrones book.
We have new Peloton Run Club dates.
We do. And in theory, if we can, trust Instagram, it is going to be November 19th in New York, and it will, we think, November 19th in London as well. And it will be the final outdoor run club of the year. Obviously, it's getting colder. So both of those will be the final. So if that's something you're interested in and you want to go, you need to go now. And I know you probably want to link, but here's the thing. They only put it on their story and it's nowhere else to be found and it's not on the event hub. So can't help you with that.
You're on your own.
You are.
Move as One classes are out.
Now, this is fascinating because these just dropped randomly. I don't know why. There's a 10-minute Move as One 5K post-run stretch with Hannah Frankson. There's a Move as One 5K warm-up with Hannah Frankson. And then there's a Move as One 5K multiple instructors happening. They're all listed as premieres, and it appears to be happening from London. So, that I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what any of it means or why it's happening right now. But there you go.
Okay. Eric Yeager has a 90-minute Power Zone ride.
I think this is his first one. First 90-minute.
Right.
And that is going to be taking place at noon Eastern on November 18th.
Okay. Charlotte Wiedenbach has a new program.
She does. Yeah, this is really cool. It is a bike program, and you can find it, of course, under programs, and you can find it on the bike, tread, row, or on the app.
And finally, and I do mean finally, because we have no birthdays this week,
Oh.
Peloton has created some new collections for people.
Yeah, so Christine recently celebrated 11 years at Peloton, and they put up Christine's greatest hits. So now you are able to go and take a whole collection of Christine's favorite classes that have been curated, and it's too bad you can't go back to the originals. I think this would be so much cooler if they went backwards and did some of these old ones, but no one listened to me.
I was thinking the exact same thing. I was like, her greatest hits from the last 3 years, right?
Right?
Like,
Right? Because,
it-
you know, what people don't know who are new to Peloton is Christine had the very first 120-minute class, and it was for breast cancer. Like, she raised money for it, and it was the first one. And it was so cool, and it was so exciting, and it was so fun to take, and like gone, deleted. No one knows anything about it.
yeah, I think that would be really cool in these collections if they started using that as a way to bring back some of the really old stuff just it's interesting from a historical standpoint, you know? It's like when you watch I don't know, a pilot of a TV show where they scrapped it and had to do a bunch of recasting, and it's cool to see the other people playing the roles or whatnot. So it's frustrating. I get that they want to be in the present tense, but like Peloton at this point has such a rich and fascinating history. I wish they would acknowledge that more.
I agree completely. And we've even asked them if they're storing these, and nobody would answer the question. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of scared they're not.
Makes me think they're not. I would agree wholeheartedly. So anyway, no birthdays. So that's it. We are done until next week. Where can people find you?
People can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Crystal D. O'Keefe. They can also find me on Blue Sky, Threads, Instagram, the Peloton leaderboard at Clipout Crystal.
And you can find me on Threads and Blue Sky at Tom O'Keefe Jr. or on Facebook at facebook.com/Tom O'Keefe. You can find the show online at facebook.com/theclipout. While you're there, like the page, join the group. Don't forget our Patreon. All sorts of bonus content, but no bonus episode next week. But there will be this week. But all sorts of bonus content. You get ad-free episodes, you get early episodes, and we like you a little bit extra. Also, just a reminder, next week's episode will be different. It's been pre-recorded. It's an Ask Me Anything. You cannot ask us anything because you missed the deadline and it's already been recorded. So, and then we will be back to normal the following week because we are going on vacation. So thank you so much for your patience and allowing us to do that. And we will talk at you next week. Until then, keep pedaling
And running.
and rowing.
Bye.
Bye.